So yesterday I did a review of the first half of the comic book series from IDW called Angel After the Fall. After I read those 3 volumes, I made a decision that I was not going to finish reading that series. And then I was looking around on the internet, looking at all of the other canonical sequel comic books to the Buffy and Angel TV series, and I remembered that there was a series called Angel and Faith. I had forgotten that this was a thing, and then I looked and volume 1 was extremely cheap on Amazon, so I used some gift card money that I had left over, and I bought that, and then I read it, and I actually enjoyed this a lot more than I did Angel After the Fall. As I said in yesterday's video, I still have not ever read Buffy Season 8, so I don't know if this is better than that. Everything that I have heard about Buffy Season 8, this sounds better than that. But I cannot say with certainty that this is better or whatever. What I've heard of Buffy Season 8, it sounds like a pretty awful series. This is actually pretty good. My big complaint about Angel After the Fall was that it was so unfocused. There were about 10 characters being featured in that series. I really feel like they could have gotten rid of about half of them, only focused on the really important characters from the main series of Angel. This does not have that problem. This series, it's called Angel and Faith, and shockingly, the 2 main characters are Angel and Faith the Vampire Slayer. There aren't any other characters who are really being focused on here. We do get a couple of British Slayers. One of them, her name is Nadiria, I think. She's not really a main point of focus. She's in this book, but she is definitely not sharing enough screen time to be considered a main character, kind of like the supporting cast in Angel After the Fall. So this book automatically dodges a big bullet that hit both Angel After the Fall and, from what I've heard, Buffy Season 8 as well. You've only got 2 characters here. There's more than enough space in a monthly 22-page series to really explore 2 characters. That's fine. Plenty of comic books explore more than that and get away with it. Also, the art is better here. I didn't get to talk about the art in my Angel After the Fall video. I just had other things to talk about. But I feel like the art in that series, it was okay. It wasn't the best. You could usually tell who, say, Illyria or Spike was. It was really just a problem when you had more minor characters, like the Electric Gwen girl, or the Werewolf girl, or Kate Lockley. Sometimes even characters like Connor. You had trouble kind of telling who they were supposed to be. Some of the most main characters, you could tell pretty easily that they were supposed to be who they were. But a lot of times, I felt like the art was just really stiff and rigid in Angel After the Fall. In this series, we do not have that problem. We are in that very happy medium where you can tell who these characters are supposed to be, but at the same time, it's not trying to be a photorealistic portrait of these actors. It's trying to be a comic book, and it's using these characters in a comic book way. It's not falling into the trap of being so rigid and stiff that Angel After the Fall fell into. And it's really hard for me to give specific examples. I'm also not very good at talking about art. All I can say is I really like the art in Angel and Faith, whereas I did not like it nearly as much in Angel After the Fall. One thing, I'm not going to say that it is a problem. It's sort of a problem for me. As I said, I did not read Buffy Season 8. This series is much more of a sequel to Buffy Season 8 than it is Angel After the Fall. The long story short is that Dark Horse Comics had the right to do Angel Comics. Then they let their rights expire. They were no longer able to do Angel Comics. Then the company IDW picked up the rights to do Angel, and then after Dark Horse started doing Buffy Season 8, IDW started doing Angel After the Fall. 2 companies with basically the same characters, or groups of characters that are related to each other anyway. Then, and here's where I'm a little bit fuzzy, apparently Joss Whedon or Dark Horse themselves wanted Angel back, and for some reason IDW has to say, okay, you can have Angel back. So then they had to end Angel After the Fall. Where this gets a little problematic is that in Buffy Season 8, this is a spoiler for that series by the way, Angel ended up being the big villain of Buffy Season 8. Apparently he was being possessed by a universe called Twilight. Like I said, I haven't read Buffy Season 8. Everything that I've heard about it just makes me more and more certain that I am not going to read that series. But anyway, the point is, when you were reading Angel After the Fall and Buffy Season 8, nobody was certain how these two series were going to fit together. If Angel is in hell in Los Angeles in Angel After the Fall, how is he being the villain of Buffy Season 8? Angel and Faith kind of tries to reconcile those. It says that Angel After the Fall takes place before Buffy Season 8, and somehow, after everything is fixed and made back to normal in Angel After the Fall, Angel is possessed by the Twilight Ghost or whatever, and then he goes and does whatever it is that he does in Buffy Season 8. This series is done by Dark Horse, as is Buffy Season 8 and Buffy Season 9. So this is naturally much more of a sequel to Buffy Season 8, and it doesn't really reference a lot of what happened in Angel After the Fall. It references that LA fell into hell and was made back to normal. That's about it. So if you are more of a fan of Angel After the Fall than you are Buffy Season 8, or even more of a fan of Angel than you are of Buffy, this is really more of a Buffy comic book that just happens to have Angel in it. I'm not saying that that's bad, but since I didn't read any of Buffy Season 8, this is making a lot of callbacks and a lot of references to what happened in Buffy Season 8, so it was a little bit hard for me to follow at times because I had missed an entire season. Now, this did not make me want to go back and read that season, but this did make me think that this book should have been a little bit more new reader friendly. I don't think that would have been a problem. It's still pretty new reader friendly, but I think it could have been better. I do have one complaint with this series. Basically, the first issue of this series ends with Angel telling Faith that he is going to, this is a big spoiler by the way, Angel is going to bring back Giles. Giles was apparently killed in Buffy Season 8, that's also a spoiler, and Angel feels really bad about it because he was, I guess, possessed by a demon when he did this, so he is going to bring back Giles. That is apparently the entire status quo of this series, that Angel is trying to bring back this character who he killed. Faith is not entirely sure if this is going to work. At different points in the book, Faith thinks that she is going to have to kill Angel just to stop him from messing with forces that he does not comprehend. I like the idea of Angel trying to atone for his sins, and it being done in a different way than we ever saw it being done in Angel the series. In Angel the series, he had killed people before in his backstory, but he didn't necessarily think that he had to bring these people back to life. He just had to brood on it and realize that, yeah, I made a mistake and now I have to try and help people to try and make up for it in the end. Here, he is actually trying to undo something that he did. So I like that this is being handled in a slightly different way than the series tried to handle it. However, I get the feeling that this entire volume is basically just fluff. It's basically filler until he actually succeeds in bringing back Giles. This entire volume deals with Faith and Angel trying to find this special magic blood that will heal a body of all wounds, and then at the end of the book they realize that the blood no longer works. Oh, okay, that's only been 5 issues that we've wasted on this MacGuffin, only to find out now that it doesn't even work, so now we're back to square one. I'm afraid this whole series is going to be a series of false starts. We're not going to find anything that's going to bring back Giles until probably the very end of this series. This series did end somewhat recently, so I'm assuming that they do eventually bring back Giles, or maybe they fail, and maybe the entire series is even more of a waste of time. I don't know. The point is, I really feel like if they wanted to bring back Giles, they should have done that at the beginning of this series. And then, instead of the entire series being, we have to bring back Giles, the entire series could have been Angel, Faith, and Giles going on adventures hunting demons and stuff. I think that would have been enough of a premise to get people to read this, especially people who might have been fans of Buffy and Angel. They definitely would have come and read something that was along the same lines as those two series, just in comic book form. That's really my biggest complaint with this book, and I think it is such a complaint that I'm probably not going to get the rest of this series. I'm not saying that this book is bad. This book is actually better than all of Angel After the Fall that I read. However, it's still got a pretty huge problem with the premise of the book. So I'm probably not going to read the rest of the series unless I see it in bargain bins somewhere. I am still a little interested in the post-finales of Buffy and Angel. I still would like to explore a little bit in the comic book sequels to these series. I'm probably not going to get any of the ongoing stuff though. I feel like I am just not the target audience for these comic book sequels. However, if they do, say, a Spike miniseries, or a Faith miniseries, or an Angel miniseries, or a Giles miniseries, I would be all over that. In fact, I did hear that there is a Spike miniseries happening around the same time as this story, where Spike is in, I poo you not, a spaceship being piloted by bugs. I don't care that that is so extremely preposterous compared to the series. I want to read that because that sounds awesome. So from now on, I'm probably going to avoid these ongoing stories, but if and when they put out a mini-series featuring one of the Buffy characters, I'll probably check that out just to see what's going on. So, that is what I thought of Angel and Faith Volume 1. What did you guys think of this book? If you read it, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I will be back tomorrow with a different kind of video. So, until then, I'll see you guys later. Have a great day.